here's my project. Watch and I'll show you how I got here. Hi, this is Dorothy with Scrapbooking, and I am speeded up here at 400%, so hold on to your horses. I went looking for some more watercolor paper to make some of my journaling pages. And I'm making 6x8, and I just happened to find what I thought was just some nice already cut 6x8 watercolor paper in my stash, and lo and behold, I can't even tell you how long I've had these, but they have a resist pattern on all of them. Now I could use the flip side where there's no pattern, but what the heck, I never knew what to do with these things. I mean, I'm telling you, I've had them for a bunch of years. And so I thought, oh my gosh, these are going to be perfect for my journaling book. So I just got a hold of my Distress Oxides. I bought all of them into my video room and just started going after it. And I mean, the Distress Oxides are just so wonderful for blending colors. So that's why I was going to do it. You know, the biggest drawback I've got is figuring out what colors to use with what colors and thinking. I totally overthink it. So what I kind of pulled my book in of my color combinations that look nice together and started doing that. But you know what it came down to is I just started putting colors together. And I used my sprays. That's the Gilt spray. I used my shimmer brushes. I used water. I have a water brush and a water spray that I use to pull color off. And I've got the white and midnight. That's the midnight. Gilt. I've got a red. I've got a whole bunch of colors. Turquoise. I usually get everything from close to my heart. So when I start doing a project, I pretty much am not held back by not having something that I want. So I guess I'm spoiled. So anyway, I'm giving it a good shake until it hadn't been opened. And so I'm spraying around. So I like to kind of use kind of make a dark area on the outside so the eye's drawn to the center. So the only problem with taking the color off of the letters is I end up, smearing some of the paint, but who cares? Because this is the kind of thing that you just add more paint to, and it just adds more dimension and interest and depth. I mean, I tell you what, this made me happy. It gave me a happy place, for sure. Now I'm using my gold shimmer brush, making a little puddle, and then just splattering it around, knocking it against my finger to give some big and small splatters. So the paint box helps to keep the mess down. So that and my craft mat that is just so easy to clean up. So I start using, I think this is Tattered Rose. So I got a thing into the darker colors. And so I decided to go over the Tattered Rose. It was kind of too light. And I thought, older ladies wear a lot of purple and dark red. So I went for the purple. You need darker colors as you get older, so you look alive. Okay, so here I'm adding the faded jeans with the purple. And like I said, I just started going after colors. And I seem to have this thing going on with making the center, just pulling the eye into the center. And maybe if I didn't have the words, the relief pattern in the center, then I wouldn't be using that so much. But such is what I'm doing. So I always get into kind of a thing where, I start off and I end up making a style of my own. And that's sort of what this is doing. I'm kind of creating a style. So, forgive me. But one thing I really like about doing these pages is I could come back next week and say, "Ooh, I need to add this to it." And it would be totally okay to do that. So you can just continue adding more interest to your pages. So I really like using the shimmer brushes because it adds some really fine sparkle to these pages. So I'm using the gilt. I think that couple of my nozzles on these sprays clogged up, and so but that doesn't make any difference because then you just take it and you use the suction tube and knock it around a little bit, and you get big and small splatters. So I really like the way that looks. So you have the darker splatters, the lighter splatters, some glitter with it. Look at how pretty that page is. So I've got all these other ones to choose from. I shouldn't ever have to make decisions because, that's tough on me. Okay, so I thought, what the heck am I going to do with an anchor? And then I thought, at some point, I started doing these backgrounds, and I did a sunflower, and then I had an epiphany that, we went for family photos back in the 80s, and there was a picture of Dad with the sunflower. So that the times that I visited Mom and Dad in North Carolina, Oriental North Carolina, they had a canal that went up to their backyard. And so they had a little bitty dock, and their sailboat was there at the end. So, one of the trips I went there, Dad took us out on the sailboat. And I thought, I've got pictures of us out there, and I thought I need to find that. And, I can put it on this one because it's, I grew up on Long Island. So I grew up, we had a boat for a lot of, I've probably been going out on a boat since I was a baby. And so there's always been kind of this water, and now I'm landlocked in the middle of Texas. But I know, sad, right? So I'm adding a darker edge around. I decided I wanted to define the edges more. So I'm just distressing the edge with that dark blue. So anyway, I can find pictures of me on a boat, either the sailboat or the speedboat that Dad had. I always sat on the bow of that, and he would take off and I would be on the bow of the boat with my legs hanging over in the water. My favorite thing to do. So this is water. So I'm just going to make some water splatters with my water brush. That little jar is super cool. It's the yogurt that was in it. It's glass. The yogurt that was in it is OUI. And the yogurt is very good. And so one of the consultant ladies was showing that she uses those for holding various things when she's crafting. And so I thought, I'm going to go get some of that yogurt, and I'm going to do the same thing and keep the things like my scissors and the markers I'm using and the Tombow. I'm going to keep it handy just off camera so I can just grab them real quick instead of reaching for everything. Okay, so here's my other clear splatter for the sparkle of water. Okay, so I used the hearts for this one because this says, I love fall most of all. So that's one of our Picture My Life cards that I put it through one of our thin cuts. That's a bracket thin cut. And it has the stitched edge. And I thought, I was going to use that. Oh, what was I going to? Was I going to use it on a card or a page, maybe a page, and decided to not use it. So I had that sitting on the edge of my, out of the camera's eye. And I decided, well, I do love fall. And so I'm using fall colors, greens and yellows and oranges. And I thought, because I love fall so much, of course I wanted to use the hearts. Didn't want to use the hearts. There's the orange, kind of reddish orange. Didn't want to use the hearts for Valentine's Day. That's so trite. So it went with my I love fall most of all. So it was a good time to use the hearts, I decided. You know what? I'm looking at that and I think, I need to put a brown edge on that. I'm adding a little bit of blue, just because there's a little bit of sapphire blue on that card. Just a tad. So that is way too white to put on my background. So I decided to ink it up too, or paint it up, whatever you want to call this stuff. So I'm just kind of taking the white out. And then it was like, well, I could have stamped those because I've got stamps for those leaves, for the thin cuts. But I just decided to use the same colors and make them look like fall leaves the way I wanted to. And I tell you, these Distress Oxides are so easy to use. They shouldn't be this easy to use. You do get inky fingers, though. And you can make a mess. So anyway, I am just kind of coloring the leaves however I wanted to. And this looks like a little ginkgo leaf, which they get brilliant red down here in the fall. They're just magnificent. But they put out these, no, it's not ginkgo, it's a sweet gum. That looks like a sweet gum leaf. But they put out these sweet gum balls that look like the coronavirus. It has spikes on it, and it's wicked. So they're kind of wicked to pick up. So as much as I like them, Jim would not let me have a sweet gum tree. As beautiful as they get in the fall, he would not allow it. Dang it. But it really, and when I think about it, it really looks like the COVID, spiky COVID germ, virus, horrific thing that it is. Okay, so here's another leaf. And I can't tell you, this sort of reminds me of like birch, or maybe, I don't know what an aspen tree leaf looks like. But birch I'm just familiar with birch in the north. They get yellow leaves. And so I kind of kept that one, a lot of yellow in it. But don't you love those vines? I just love those vines. So those go down with the liquid Tombow. Super, super simple. So I'm just putting my inks out of the way because we're getting out of control. And I just used my blocks to kind of keep while the ink was drying, not the ink, the glue was drying a little bit. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to... It's painful to watch. So I came back and decided to redo it. I added some blue around the edges to pick up the blue flower in the middle there. And that could be an aster because they bloom in the fall. My purple asters are starting to bloom. They've just started to bloom this week. So I'm just going to put my leaves around. Now the other thing I could have done with these leaves was to take them and crumple them up to make them look like kind of crumply fall leaves instead of just being flat. So I'm definitely going to come back with the vintage photo Distress Oxide, and I am going to edge that and add some brown to it. So this is my gold shimmer So I decided to splatter it with that. So I've got those 4 that I've done. That one is like boom. So here are my 4. So I let those sit and dry out for a half a day or so. And then today I decided to go back and make some more. So here we go, making some more. I could have made this 2 videos, but I just thought it's kind of a continuation. So I'm putting all my sponge, it's Daisy making noise in the background. I'm making my sponge, I've got all my sponges out. Okay, so on Wheel of Fortune, I love watching Wheel of Fortune, and they have this beautiful background. Now I'm going to have to do this one over again because of that. But they have this background that starts with yellow, goes into pink, and then there's blue on top. But then there's all these colors that have blended in between those 3 colors. So you get orange and you get purple going up into the blue. And that would have been, see, that would have been nice, but no, I couldn't leave it alone. So, cleaning off the color off of the letters. And then I decided to go after it. See, I just really liked the fact that fading on Wheel of Fortune was just really so beautiful. I thought, okay, there's my inspiration for one of my sheets. But no, we've got to go ahead and take this and just go nuts. Just plain nuts. And see, instead of blotting it, I smeared it. But you know, this is like, so what? So I decided to get one of my stencils. This was not the one to do it on because this is so busy already. So you can, this is another thing that you can do. You can take a stencil, and I needed a darker color. It's still, and then add over, add a stencil over what you've already painted. That just adds more texture, more layers. So I decided to pull out this villainous, what is it, villainous poison or something. It's a dark, dark purple. It kind of reminds me of Halloween, right? And so you just add a little bit of interest here and there using the stencils. Pretty doggone easy. And then I decided to take the purple and edge that. But I'm going to go back and get another one of my sheets because I've got some more sheets left. And just make kind of a cleaner of just the 3 colors and the blends. Because it's so pretty. It really is pretty. So someplace along the way my gold got clogged. So I'm just adding with knocking it. Now I really have gold all over my hands. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's my stamp set. So it's Simple Leaves is what it's called. And so it's got the stamp set and the thin cuts with it. So here's another one. Now this one's kind of, there's a large floral that goes all over, and then there's the single floral in the middle. And so I am going to, I don't know what I'm doing here, just using pretty colors. Now I absolutely adore this color. I just think it's glorious. That is like one of my favorite colors there. And so I decided to add some of the coral to it, abandoned coral. And I kind of decided that was too close to the other. So I want to add a whole different color. Is it great with the coral? No, it's not. It's nice with the yellow. But that's okay. You know, that's okay. I can totally live with that. Just kind of pretty. Those flowers and the vines and stuff are really pretty. So anyway, here we go. So you see, I've got a system going. So I need to get out of my rut. I need to flip the cards over and do some things on the other side to get me out of the rut. So I just sprayed it with some water, and so I'm just pulling a little bit of color off. And that was a spray as opposed to a brush, a water brush. And a whole lot of clear. I used a lot of clear shimmer on these. And now I'm going to use black because that isn't busy enough. And it just kind of ran because I should have waited for the clear to dry before I put the black on. And I'm going to pull some off so it's not so wet. And I just kind of thought, well, let me just take my intense black stamp pad and edge the card in black to match the black dots that I splattered. So, see, it just kind of defines the edge. So, decided to add more to that because, dear me, too much is not enough. My favorite expression. Gotta clean my craft sheet off. I love how it cleans up so easily. Okay, so these need to just dry. They need to sit over there and stay away from me. Okay, so this is like, what do I do? So I'm thinking like I want to get less messy. So I just want to go monochromatic. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just going to go around. And this is such a pretty bouquet in the middle. I'll just make it stand out with a nice monochromatic. Right? Look at that pretty color. I mean, you got to say it's a pretty color. That's salvage patina. It's just beautiful. Just an absolutely beautiful color. Goes along with peacock feathers being an absolutely beautiful color too. And so I'm just kind of darkening the edges, adding a second layer of the same color. So I'm thinking, well, can that get darker? Well, it can get more even, is what it can get. And then I thought, well, maybe we shouldn't do monochromatic. So here we go. And we're pulling out the peacock feathers and just going around the edge with peacock feathers. So it's still sort of monochromatic because that's just kind of a slightly darker color than the salvage patina. But then you got to add some faded jeans to the outside edge. And I don't know whether I'm looking for, like, looking into a cloud or something. I don't know what kind of thought process is going on. There isn't any thought process going on. Who am I kidding? So, and then I decided to add some of the villainous poison, whatever it's named. I think that's what it's named, on the outside edge. So you kind of, you kind of feel like you're looking into something, and it's just all.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Pulls off the color very nicely, so you get water splatters. And this is mint. So I'm going to do a little shimmer in mint. And then I pull a lot of it off too, just because I can stick, it shimmers. That's why it's called a shimmer brush. It just shimmers. The glitter or whatever's on the inside is just so tiny. It's just, and then this is my black shimmer brush, and I'm edging with the black shimmer brush, and then it kind of absorbs into the thick watercolor paper. And so I go over it a couple of times. And that's, once again, defining the edges. And we're going to have a thick shimmer edge on that paper. So I don't know what I'm going to use that for. But the journaling, you can put anything. You can put pictures. You can put phrases. And here's my final 7. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.